Okay, here we are. Okay, everyone, welcome to another Google Hangout. I am joined by none other than Jeff Gross and Eric Danis, who BTW, I just found out the other day, yesterday, lost 60 pounds, right? 60? 100.
Thank you.
What? I saw a picture of him before. It blew my mind. So just in case you guys don't know, go to Facebook and check out that before and after. The man of the hour, Jeff Gross. So I actually just about 10 minutes ago was talking to Waxy, Mr. Matt Waxman, deep in the main event. One of your boys. Are you sweating it? Are you paying attention to the main at all? Or are you just moving on with your life now?
I am. I had a disappointing main out day 1A. Had a few sweats in, and a couple good friends still, including Waxman, definitely my closest friend still in. So I'm looking at it, and part of the reason why I came out was to sweat in. I just went to Houston for a couple days and was going to stay there until Monday, but decided to do this and also come see Waxman. So
you gotta support your people.
Exactly right.
So can I expect some cocktails out there on the rail in a good 20 minutes? This is going to be 20 minutes, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be there. I'm going to watch with him. We're going to go to dinner, and I'm excited. I mean, I think they're less than 200 now, and it's as good as it gets. It's the best tournament in the world and the most fun to be in. So I'm very happy for him. Also, it's like, being on used to play soccer. It's like watching if you're out at a tournament. You're like, it's just like you want to be in so bad. But I'm really happy for him, and he's a great player. So I expect to see him go extremely deep with a couple other Dan Smith and Griffin Banger and a few other guys that are really talented with this many big blinds and this deep with experience. It's going to be fun.
It is definitely going to be fun to watch. Now, let me just ask you on a personal note. When you go to dinner in a sweat like this, an event like this, do you guys go talk about what just has been going on, or do you just, let's talk about the weather because I don't want to talk about poker anymore?
It's different for everyone. I mean, within like the group of our, I guess, poker friends or people, some people really you can't shut them up about hands. They want to talk about every detail on the turn and bet sizing. Some guys just want to relax and not talk about poker at all. So it really depends. I think Waxman's more on the side of not talking too much, but I'm sure he'll tell me an interesting hand or two. But I think he's just going to want to kind of relax and just have some laughs and try to not get too. It's a big moment, and he knows how to handle pressure. He's won a World Series bracelet. He's won a WPT before, so I think he's gonna be relaxed already. But definitely, I don't expect him to be talking about poker.
I'm going to let Eric ask you some hard-hitting stuff. This is where the fun comes from. This is where the drama comes from.
Randy Shack Harris listening in. WPT 500, you had fun playing that event?
Yeah, I did. I actually played one bullet, and I mean, it was crazy how many people there were. Right. So I played it the first day, and it was fun. And then I decided I was going to go play a cash game in Houston instead of playing it. I took a shot at it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to rather go switch up from the tournament mode, and I kind of got back into the cash game mode and then left. But it was good. It was awesome and really cool event. I mean, seeing Christian and some of my friends go deep in that, and Scott Clements. I mean, even though it was a turbo format, it showed that a lot of there still was room to play. I think the blinds got deeper, right? Or they made the levels longer as it got later too. So that's an awesome tournament. I'm sure they'll run something similar, if not the same thing again.
What about the mini controversy of the event running at the same time as WSOP? Obviously, might not have affected the main event, but maybe some other smaller events or maybe qualifiers for the WSOP. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually saw Greg Merson kind of.
The champ.
Yeah, he was speaking up about that, and I mean, I respect Greg as much as anyone in poker, and he's a great guy, and I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. I would have maybe not. He kind of voiced it and took a little intense approach on that, but I don't know. I don't see it being it's a little bit of a different. The buy-ins are different, and it's not necessarily competing. I think Matt Savage does a great job with tournaments. I think they really looked at what's the best time of the year. I know it was going to be earlier, and then they moved. I think they tried to think what was best for everyone. So pretty sure they did the best to their ability to make sure they fit that in. But yeah, I mean, are they capitalizing a little bit on the World Series? Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine, and it was a cool event.
Now, speaking of just going to Houston really quick, just flying in for a little home game action. Tell us what's happening out there. What kind of juicy cash games do they have going in that Texas? It's a pretty pretty big size thing you got going on there.
Yeah, it's a there's a couple good games. There's one that
Got that oil money?
Yeah, there's all the oil doctor, dentist. There's a lot of money there. It's fun. I mean, I've been become pretty, obviously through Bill Perkins, who lives out there. That's how I initially kind of got into it. And yeah, there's a variety of good games. I go every Sunday and Wednesday. There's a game I play in particular. It's a pretty juicy game, and I've been going there for like a year and a half or two, and it's good. I have a good time there. So
the interesting thing for me, I guess, is obviously with business professionals, they're intelligent. They clearly understand how to run a profitable lifestyle. It would seem to me that they would recognize that it's not necessarily plus EV to be inviting professionals to their game, and yet I also think that personality type, attracts a certain amount of ego, and that actually maybe they want to just beat a professional poker player. Do you feel like both those elements kind of there?
Yeah, of course. And honestly, this game should be on TV. It's the funniest game, like the most interesting personalities, some of my favorite people in the world to play with. Not necessarily because I feel, granted, I think I have an advantage in the game. Obviously, that's what I do for a living. These guys don't play poker for a living, but it's just a great group of guys, and it's a lot of fun, and that's kind of how it starts off. Again, with Bill playing, it's like he's a lot of action, so it's sort of like what Bill says goes, and then I become really friendly with the guys over the years, and a lot of times Bill's not even there, and I'll come in and play, and it's they're actually some pretty strong. Like there are some good players, and I've been impressed lately at how some guys have adjusted and stuff. But yeah, exactly, it's an interesting point. Like it's a fine line between who do you want to have in the game and not, and definitely feel fortunate to play in the game, but it's become more like a friend. Now we're friends, and it's not like when they put a bad beat on me or if I get unlucky, it's like you got to handle it well and just smile. And these guys are trying to win; they're competitive, and I think I have a slight advantage, obviously, but it's become more of like a camaraderie, friendship, and just having a good time. And no one likes to lose every time, but I lose. It goes both ways, and it's a lot of fun.
It's good to have a little boys club of people like that where you can be, doctor, my wife needs some surgery, if you will, but now you've got people, people in high places.
For sure. And I ran into a lot of them come out during the summer. They were playing cash or would get deep in tournaments here, and it was fun to see a lot of that group out here. So not a great showing for the home game. I don't think one was cash for me, but we'll wait. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, so on to the next.
Yeah.
Now, do you have some serious questions to throw in the mix?
This is going to hurt. This is a terrible one.
All right.
Jeff, you've had a few close calls in major events here at the WSOP. Is there one in particular that hurts the most? One that you really, really wanted? Maybe WPT Montreal, where it was a great event for you?
Yeah, I think, the one that hurts the most was in 2011. I was heads up with Mark Radoja, and the blinds it was a 5K shootout, and we were heads up, and the blinds got like so massive, and it was like actually I think we were like 5 or 10 minutes before the end of the night when it was like they had to call it because of time, and I think we had like 25, 30, 20 bigs each or something, and I just remember getting in Ace Jack to King 10. I would have like 13 million to his 2, losing that hand. So that one sticks out just because it was so close to getting the bracelet, and that's like everyone's telling you, you don't worry, you'll get one, and it's like, here we are. It's now we're through 2014 and I don't have one, but it's all you can do is play your best and keep playing and get deep. It's like drilling for oil. You're gonna hit one, and I definitely feel slightly, it hurts not having a WPT or a WSOP bracelet, but I've had a lot of second, thirds, fifths, sevenths, sixes. I'm confident in my game, and I think I'll get one. But you just never know when you're going to get one. So it's when you get there, it's nice to close it out. You see some of these guys like Waxman or Mercier, or these guys that get deep and they've won their flips or they get it done, and they have multiple titles, and it is what it is, and you never know. You can win 2 in a row, 3 in a row. See some of the guys who are in huge World Series this summer. It's like it can happen like that, where you get 2, 3, or it just comes. So I'm not too upset about it, but it would be nice to join that Champions Club or have a title.
It makes you breathe a bit easier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what you have that no one else has?
What's that?
A tattoo on your back that says something along the lines of like gay pride, but are, I think, semi-straight or something like this. Give us the story.
So I did. I remember with Christy Arnett, I did you can see that interview. I explained it in detail, but I will just say that I was in Amsterdam with Bill Perkins and his family, and we were walking around, and we were both just kind of curious, saying, "Do you have a tattoo?" He knew. I didn't think I did, and I knew he didn't have one just based on how he doesn't do any drugs, alcohol. He's just a very straight arrow. So assuming he didn't have a tattoo, and we started talking about it, he just basically said, "How much would it take for you to get a tattoo?" And I was sort of like, "Oh, because this is you gotta walk a fine line," because I know.
I don't know. I have friends like that.
Yeah. So long story short, he just kept kind of bothering about it, and finally I just blurted out a number that I thought he would not. I knew he could say just because he's sick like that, but I was like, I said something kind of that I would have to do it if he said yes, and he just said yes. So maybe I could have got more, but whatever. I'm happy with it, and it's cool. Like I said, I'm 100.
It's a great story,
yeah,
and every tattoo is really just a story.
It's a great icebreaker. I love when I've actually been out with a lot of friends when. It is a good icebreaker. So they'll come up, and sometimes girls will say like $1,000 or $5,000, and my friends would just say, "Okay, let's go. We got you." But
I don't realize what
and then and we end up, it doesn't end up happening usually. But yeah, for sure, it's interesting to see.
Is it the only one?
This is my only tattoo, and
that's amazing in this day and age. It's, I think, become the norm now to have tattoos, and it's kind of weird not to. Weird? That's not the right word.
Yeah. So I do have a clause when I make double what he paid me, I can get it removed or covered, and I joke around, and somebody's like, "How can you get it removed? Like, it's too good a story, whatever." And again, I'm 100% straight, and I have no problem. I'm totally supportive of
clearly,
advice and everything.
you're
And
super
it's not even the official. It's like it's missing a color, and it's whatever. I enjoy it. I think it's funny. It's a good story. I don't mind. So it's a little self-conscious. Got to be, at the pool parties, I'm always a little worried about it, but it's all right. No big deal.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's just
but
like.
then you can always that's the best in with a group of chicks. You're totally like, "Oh my god, that's fun." Right. You're like, "Yeah, totally."
Yeah. So it is. That's like the only time I really. I forget I have it most of the time. So.
It's on your back.
Yep. Exactly.
Now, give us some stories maybe on some other. I've just heard there's been rumors circulating about some prop bets that you've been a part of. I definitely wish I was part of your group of friends so I could jump in on some of this action, making some of this money. But tell us some of the craziest prop bets you've personally been a part of.
I'll tell you the one that I'm most proud of, and it wasn't really a prop bet, but kind of this just sort of got my I don't know if it got necessarily my bankroll started, but it was like a big uptick, and it was actually at the Lot and Things game in Montreal with Phil Locke and Antonio, and we were just playing for $10 a point. It was like 4 of us at dinner, and all of a sudden it was like how much Antonio would have to be paid to wear a mohawk for 4 months was the question, and Antonio's best friend Lee, one of his best friends, said 10,000. Phil then shot up to 200,000, and I said buy. So we're playing for $10.
That's a big leap.
Yeah, and then I said book, like I wanted the under, and then all of a sudden Phil immediately chimes in and goes, "You want more action?" He's offered me 10-1 on 500, and I was like, because they did the I Bet You show, and they're 2 of my closest friends in poker and really now in general, but I know they have like a special bond, so they know each other in and out. So I was like, I don't want to. Anytime someone's offering these ridiculous odds, and it's almost like you might know they've done the question or whatever.
Right.
And so I didn't take it, and then finally offered me 25-1 on 1,000 at that 30 minutes later, and I was like, you know what? I was like, Antonio just did this course, the choice, the program is philosophy's a little different on life, and I was like, you know what? All right, whatever, 25-1, and I took it, and Antonio's number was 23,000. And the 200 was the line. He bet me 25-1 on 200K. So he got picked off, and it looked like Phil saw a ghost because he said that was the most he's ever, the worst bet he's ever made. And
you think he was just trying to get in your head? He's giving you super good odds. He's gonna think that I know for sure.
I don't know. I just knew 25-1 was too good, and I took it. And so that was I wasn't necessarily a prop bet, but that was one of the best bets I've ever won, definitely. So that's one, and then bungee jumping off the Stratosphere was another one, which terrified of heights, and I think it was 2 summers ago, last summer, 2 summers ago, I can't remember. And yeah, I was playing in Ivy's room, and all of a sudden, this bet came up, and Bill offered me, I forget if I didn't jump, I had to pay something. So I got up there, and I had a couple drinks, and I remember I said 3, 2, 1, jump, and I couldn't go, and I was like, do it again, and then I just hopped off, and I did it. Actually, I found out one of my other best friends, David Silverman, he bet Perky 100 to 1 that I was going to jump on 1,000 for 100 grand. So if I had not jumped, I would have had to pay 10, and Dave would have paid 100, which I didn't know. So I was really happy I jumped.
There's so much metagame in every prop game you guys have going on.
That's one of the more fun ones. And
that's not even a real bungee jump.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's like
isn't it weighted and it goes slow?
Yeah, it's like 45 miles per hour. Yeah, you just jump. You're not like go back up or.
And how do you feel now?
I wouldn't do it again, but
what did you get that
probably for some money I would do it again. But I mean, I don't like heights. It's not like my cure of heights is.
No.
I actually had the option to skydive before that, and I thought this was like way safe. I knew like there's no. I looked it up and I figured it out, and I was like, the skydiving, there's a lot of stuff to go wrong. You got like 8-year-olds packing your chute and stuff, and I didn't want. I just felt like okay, so yeah, that was a good one. I'm happy about that. I'd probably do it. I would do it again for the same.
I'd do it again for like 250K.
As long as I get paid.
I don't know. I do it again for a few things. It sounds like it would be a little bit dangerous to get drunk or around you and your friends. I feel like anything goes. Anything could happen at this point.
Antonio actually offered me $100,000 to get C cups. C-cup implants, and that was this was before the
from the guy who got the tattoo.
Yeah, no, this was before I did the
it.
tattoo. No, and I remember we were at dinner, and because this has happened before with Spotney, or the exact name. I've seen him, and it's a fan.
I'm sorry, someone did this.
Oh yeah,
this was the most well-known betting in I think
early '90s, I believe, or
mid-'90s,
something
like that.
That's before my time.
Yeah, 100 grand too back then's a little more.
Yeah, it was a little more.
So,
yeah.
And the guy, there was some discrepancy. I think he did it, but like the guy said it, and then the guy was just like, "No, I'm doing it." Like the guy was like, "Wait, like I don't know," and then he just did it, and then he had to keep him for 1 year, and he still has him. So he says chicks love him, and it's a big, it's his thing.
Chicks love him.
Yeah. So.
Chicks love his man boobs.
Yeah, they're C cups.
His fake man boobs.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice.
They're nice. They're nice.
Those are nice cups. I don't know. But yeah, that's the best other story that I've heard. So.
I have got to do more research about all this. I need to prepare myself before I immerse myself more deeply into this world.
Jeff Gross world.
Yeah, this is bananas. And then so you're also known by everyone sort of in the poker media as you're like the best friend.
Professional best friend, which I've actually, in the course of my interviewing people and such throughout the years, talked to lots of people who would say, "Oh, Jeff Gross, he's one of my best guy friends." What is it? What do you got going on here? What is this sort of aura you have? Are you just super loyal? And also, did you go to school for this?
Do you? Where in Antonio and where in the lists do you know where you fall? I know Brian Rass and Antonio have literal lists. Do you know your number?
I do know. I know my number on Antonio's list, but in terms of the other guys, I don't know exactly. But I like to think in more of tiers, and I would consider myself in pretty much all my close friends. I'm in their tier 1, which is I don't know actual numbers or whatever, and I don't think it really matters honestly. But it's
you're the A team.
Yeah, I mean,
they go to jail, they're calling you for sure.
I'm kind of the guy that's always up for anything. Just fly, go wherever. If you need something, I'll just do it. Here, waxing.
I was just gonna say fly back from Houston, get a tattoo for fun and
entertainment. It's I'm really up for anything, and I don't know. I think that has something to do with it.
Who's your best friend?
My best.
Oh, Zing.
Well, no,
that's
I have a list. I did do a list.
You guys have a ranking.
I do have a system, but there's a lot of ties and stuff because I think it's a little. Whatever. I think it's a little corny, but it makes some sense. There's certain times on a trip or if you're wet, whatever, you need to kind of know. And it's just nice to have it.
That's exactly what I said. It's when you get married, that's when you've got to make sure that it is set.
Yeah. So I mean, I have Phelps is my number on my list. He's number 1. I've lived with him the last 5 years, but I have a couple other of my closest friends that are right in there who I've grown up with and still since middle school, high school, are still my best friends. So I mean, I have 5 or 6 that are my core group that I talk to on the phone almost every day or every other day. And then I have Antonio and Phil and those guys are right after that. I haven't known them as long, but and I see it's funny because you see certain guys even Antonio and Phil, and I'll be on the road with those guys a lot, or during Vegas for a month straight. Whereas guys from Michigan or my best friends from home, I talk to, but I see them maybe a couple times a year, so it's a little different. But they're kind of grandfathered in, and just too many good memories, too many good times. But yeah, so Mike and a couple other guys that people wouldn't know. are like my best friends, but and then there's like another, I guess, tier.
Another sector.
Yeah, there's like poker and then other friends and whatever. It's all intermingled, and some of them know each other, some don't. But yeah, I'm more a tier guy than like a actual ranking. So I have like a couple, 3-4 guys tied or whatever.
Different timelines of your life require different tiers.
Exactly.
It's interesting though because Antonio also said his top 2 are friends from childhood growing up, which I think begs the point that in some ways there's no way to compensate for time. It's the only thing you can. But what he gave us like his top 3 qualities that help him define who is best friends and top. What would you say are the qualities? How would you rank things among your tiers? How do you separate your tiers?
And are Olympic gold medals number 1?
Yeah.
Is that the first ranking?
Because that's going to be tough for anybody else to get there.
No, that's not on there. That's not a qualifying thing. That doesn't hurt, I guess. But that doesn't actually factor in. That's a good question, but just off the top of my head, I mean, similar to probably what anyone's are, like loyalty, who I'm gonna have fun with, right? Who's a good, who's fun to go out with, and just like trust too. I mean, it's huge. Like loyalty, trust. Just someone like if you tell them something or that you can go out and do whatever and not have to worry about any. You just like you can literally trust them.
Like if you murder someone, they will go to the desert and bury a hole with you.
See, that's taking it a little extreme, but I guess that's sort of what along those guidelines in less intense form. Yeah,
that's key. You can only marry somebody that would do that for you.
Right.
That's the start.
Exactly.
That's how we know. Now, 2 minutes. Okay, Eric. I'm sorry, I always do this. Throw in something serious.
I like something fun, actually.
I always try to make him do all the worst ones.
That's right. I get the bad stuff. I want a fun Michael Phelps story. Nothing too ridiculous, but let's have some fun.
No, but feel free to get ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, if it's controversial, even better. But let's not.
Let's see, a fun Michael Phelps story.
Does he eat Subway all the time? That I actually think he's a Subway.
No, he does. He does really like Subway. Honestly, that's like he believes in like what he does, which is cool. Like all the stuff he does. Man, I have so many good stories with Mike, and just so many like great memories. Probably the most fun and memorable was going out to Beijing for the 2008 Olympics and just being a part of like the 8. Like seeing literally him become like overnight. Like I've known him for years before that, but like when he won that 8th gold in that night, being out, just kind of like realizing like wow, how like having like Kobe, LeBron, they're all lined up waiting for him when we go to the party, like doing shot. They had a game the next day and they were doing shots, with Mike, and we were sitting there, and it was just cool, like seeing like some of the most well-respected or famous athletes, like just here's a swimmer. So that was cool, and then the follow-up to that would be that right after we went to Vegas, actually, we were at the Palms, we were in the Hardwood Suite. It was supposed to be like a little celebration thing. We had like, I don't know, we're supposed, Mike had like it was actually on my birthday, like coincidentally, it was like right after, it was like that Labor Day weekend. So I had like my core group of friends like coming up from my party, like crashing at his celebratory party. So like I was like, I'll bring 4 or 5 guys, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna have 5 or 6 of my best, like his like grown up friend. So like, all right, well, like a 12, 14 person thing, no big deal. And it ended up being like, no joke, there's like 35, 40 guys like that we all knew, and people were trying to get in. It just became insane. And we, the Hardwood has like beds coming out of the wall. And like it was just it was like a 3-day debauchery celebration. Like that's probably like the pinnacle of fun. And I missed it was my senior year of college. So like school started August 20th, and that was September 5th. And I was taking 8 courses to finish, and so I came back 3 weeks school late. But it's hard to like, I was like emailing my professors like, yeah, hey, like I'm sorry, I gotta go to Olympics, like I'm gonna do that. But then like I was like going to SNL and like Vegas, and I came back 3 weeks late, and it was just I never forget. I swear this is not made up. I walked into my class and they were taking a test. The first class I walked in, their handout test. My professor was really cool. It was like, listen, we're gonna wait your other test. We'll just start you now. But it was like crazy. I mean, just like literally being in school but like doing the stuff. And then I'd even like on the weekends be going and SB awards or stuff. And it was just like a crazy year, and just really
and you
like.
Still managed to finish school?
Yeah, and that was I graduated. So that semester, I had nightmares for a while waking up that I like missed. I had one course I had to do more for another semester or something. It was awesome. That was like my most fun. And Mike actually flew in to one of the he spoke at 2 of my classes. So this is like
extra credit.
The
Right?
teachers are like,
Yeah.
it'll be cool,
yeah,
but
you're
you're gonna
maybe you
have
can bring him
to.
in. So I joked with him about it, and then he was like, all right, I can do that. And then him and one of my best friends who actually just quit poker, Tim Begley, who used to play. He was like, until like 2 years ago he played, but he flew down with Mike, and we were just, Mike came in, and it was just, it was really funny seeing like in this huge classroom, everyone taking pictures, going nuts. And it was like a couple weeks after he'd won the 8, he'd probably be getting appearance fees or could be getting whatever, and he just
He's trying to get you those A's,
yeah, trying to get me, well,
Yeah,
just not
that's
to fail. I don't know about A's, but yeah, that was cool. That was probably the nicest. That was just like Mike being a great friend, just kind of going out his way. Granted, going to party and hang out at college sounds not the worst. But yeah,
with your best friend.
Yeah, it was awesome. Those are the most fun memories and times.
I give you a huge congratulations for finishing college. I think it's hard enough for anyone, but after a rager weekend in Vegas, after your boy wins however many important, Olympic medals,
Sure.
what did he win, like 20? I don't know.
8-1.
I don't pay attention to sports, but I do think that's a huge accomplishment. And someday I'd love to know more how you're using this, academic pursuit in your regular life, if at all. No one's using their college degree, but it's still awesome. This is Jeff Gross. This is Eric Danis. I'm Sarah Gray. You guys are with us here on PokerNews.com.